In this video, I'm going to show you how XDcuff is installed and deployed from your Stryker PowerPro XD stretcher. So before we begin, I want to go over the basic components included in the XDcuff limb restraint system. Now this is the cuff securement strap, and its only purpose is to hold the restraint underneath the stretcher. Now these come 4 in a package and are meant to be permanently affixed to the stretcher. So this is our restraint. This is our stretcher anchor. We utilize heavy-duty polyacetyl plastic buckles, which offer an impressive 450-pound braking strength. And the reason we use these is for the quick release function in cases of an emergency or transfer to the hospital bed, and the quick cinch function, which eliminates the need for any special knots to be formed around the stretcher. So this is the cuff, which attaches to the patient's extremity, and now I'll show you how it works. So the stretcher mattress doesn't need to be removed to install the system, but I'm going to do it so it's easier to see. So on the cuff securement strap, this gray portion is what goes onto the stretcher, and this black portion is what holds the restraint. So you're going to feed the gray strap through the plastic loop, and then attach it back to itself. Now you want to ensure that the red tabs are facing out so they're easier to access in emergencies. So now we'll do the opposite side. So now that the cuff securement straps are installed, we can install the restraints. We're going to loop the anchor around the frame rail, back through itself. So when you do this, you want to ensure that the buckle is facing outwards so that you can have access to the red pull tabs when they are deployed. So here's another view. Again, loop the anchor around the frame rail here. Secure the cuff and buckle within the cuff securement strap. Now we're going to attach the left wrist position. This is located on the foot end hitch. So what's cool about these straps is they fit every position, so it doesn't matter which one you have. So again, make sure that the red pull tab is facing the provider. So now we'll attach the restraint. This is going to go around both lift bars. So you just simply loop it around. You can bring it back on the outside. You want to attach the cuff and buckle within the cuff securement strap. So when you install the right wrist position, you want to ensure that it is above the cuff securement strap so when it's deployed it doesn't get hung up here. So installation is now complete. So I've been asked if XDcuff interferes with any day-to-day operation of the stretcher, and it does not whatsoever. As you can see here, we can move them up in Trendelenburg. If you want to utilize a knee gatch, you can do that with no problem. There's no rubbing or touching, and again, it does not interfere with the day-to-day operation of the stretcher. So another question I'll get is what happens with your patient that has vomited or is bleeding? You know, are the restraints going to get dirty? As you can see here, they are perfectly concealed underneath the stretcher mattress and really is invisible to the untrained eye. So now I'm going to show you how XDcuff is deployed from your stretcher. So just to be clear, XDcuff is designed for medical patients suffering a life-threatening emergency. These patients include diabetics, head injuries, post-ictal seizure patients, and the list goes on. So we're only trying to physically restrain them so we can safely provide chemical restraint or sedation. So in the unfortunate event where you have to do this, it's nice to have them ready to go. So now we'll start with the left wrist restraint position. You're gonna pull the cuff securement strap tab. The cuff is obviously gonna release, remove the protective packaging, and roll out the restraint. You're going to attach it to their left wrist. This is our reusable version. We also have a disposable version that is very similar. So you're going to attach the black hook and loop Velcro, followed by the blue hook and loop. Once that's attached to the person, cinch it up, and you're good to go. Tuck the excess strap underneath the stretcher, and that's done. So another thing, we color code our restraints for simplicity. Blue for sky, wrist, green for the ground, which I'll show you here on the ankles. And the same thing, you remove the cuff securement strap, which will release the restraint. Remove the protective packaging, deploy it out. Like I stated earlier, we color code them. Another difference for the ankle is that they're a little bit longer to accommodate the larger diameter of the ankle. And we also shortened up the strap on the ankles so there's no slack that can get caught in the wheels or anything of that nature. So same thing, cinch it up, and you're ready to go. So we recommend crisscrossing the ankle restraints, which will further increase the immobilization of the lower extremities. So that's pretty much it. I know I skipped over the right wrist restraint position. I'm just trying to keep the video a little bit shorter. The great thing about this restraint is that you can quickly release them. If you need to use them on a backboard or transfer to the hospital stretcher, they're very easy to take off. This is our reusable version. So these are machine washable, or you can soak them in bleach however you choose. So when the time comes to reuse them, if they weren't contaminated or you've cleaned them, all you're gonna do is roll them back up. Plug in the buckle. Loop it again and around. And then attach it back within the cuff securement strap. So in this video, I wanted to make sure that I addressed all of the questions that I get asked in demonstrations. And one of the biggest ones is, how strong are these plastic buckles? I'm kind of concerned with that. And my answer to them would be extremely strong. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but this is an Otani G44 tire and it weighs 384 pounds. As you can see here, our restraints can handle this weight with no problem. And what's even more impressive is that it can almost hold 70 pounds more on top of this. So I hope this will relieve any concerns you may have with the strength of our plastic buckles.